All right. Hi, I'm Ricky from Revis Consultants. So I help subcontractors win more tenders at their target profit in 12 weeks or less, even if they're time poor, overwhelmed, and don't know where to start. So my goal is basically to make this process as simple and successful as possible so that you can win those bigger contracts with less stress. So I'm here on a regular basis. So jump on, ask me a question or DM me anything, particularly if you feel like you want me to cover something. It's kind of your opportunity to ask me anything. Okay, so this is the second in a series of lives that I'm doing on pricing and getting pricing right, with the focus this week on materials and subcontract works. So just to start with, I think it's really important to say that the rate for materials that you will pay will differ from job to job, even if it's the same materials, and the same can be said for anything that you subcontract. So factors like unloading, the size and type of delivery vehicle you can get in, delivery to different locations, price fluctuations, using different providers based on the location, etc. This is all going to affect the rate that you pay for materials and your subcontract works. So it's really important that materials and subcontract works are quoted for the job and the project location, and that you include these rates within your estimate. Basically, the last thing you want to do is when it comes time to deliver, you can't get the materials or the subcontract works for the price that you put in your tender. So you have to wear the extra cost. This obviously ends up coming out of your profit, which is what you want to protect. So when pricing materials, you should also be aware of and including, as I mentioned before, the cost of the materials from the actual quotes from the suppliers that you'll use for that project. Obviously, around the time at the moment, prices is inflation and price fluctuations. We're seeing like materials change prices quite regularly. Also important to include delivery and unloading costs to the project site within these rates, and also wastage. Wastage needs to be included. So this is the same for any of the elements that you're going to subcontract. Obtain actual costs from the subby that you're going to use on the job, and don't take that risk yourself. Right, so let's take a look at a quick example, which I will share. I'll get there soon. Okay, so this is an example of my pricing document that I use, and down the bottom here, we've got the different elements of the price that we separate and price. So you can see subcontracted materials will be the focus of today. And this is my price build up. So I've identified the elements of material that needed for the project. The quantity is a taken off quantity that's been checked. I've included wastage where appropriate for the different elements where you will have wastage, and that will be an actual cost. And most importantly, the rates that I have included here are included of the elements that I talked about, so that their delivery, unloading, and its actual quoted rates from the supplier for this project. So basically, I've done this for my estimate and the project, and what I'm coming to is that I have a material cost, or an estimated material cost, of £10,312 for this project based on actual quoted quotes for materials. So that's my expected spend for materials on this project. In a similar fashion, I've done the same for subcontracts. So anywhere that identified that I need subcontractors works, I've gone out to these companies who have given me actual quotes for the work. And again, I have an estimated spend on subcontracts of £18,000. So an estimated actual cost of £18,000. Okay, so right, so that's the quick example. But basically, in summary, when you submit a tender, you should be clear on what price your materials and any subcontractors will cost you from actual quotes, as you could kind of see from that example. Importantly, as well, lead times is something that you need to identify and be reflecting back in your tender. We do this via a program that we submit with our tender, but this is information that the client needs also. When you make a decision to go for a tender, get these out first knocks. So get the information out to the supplier to give you material quotes, and get the information out to the subbies that you need quotes for first knocks as soon as you decide to go for it, so they've got some time to look at it and price accordingly. But basically, taking the time to calculate this position on every job is going to bring you clarity and help with your decision making. And it's also going to ensure that you're setting up for project success and a profitable project. So that's it for today. So stay tuned. I'll have a live coming up next, and it's going to be the next one in the series of pricing back to basics, which will be labor and plant. So yeah, if you want to speak to me about your tendering, I offer a number of free calls each month to talk specifically about how you can improve your tendering. There's a link on my LinkedIn profile if you want to book one of these. That's it for today. Thanks, and I'll see you again soon.